All right, so for the next part of our tutorial, we will be talking about the basics of image making with the context of creating logos. Now, when we talk about image making, we need to keep certain aspects in mind. Some of them are subjective, some of them are objective. When we talk about subjective aspects, we need to think of the design sense that we're going with. There are personal preferences as well as preferences of our potential clients. So it's really important that we come up with a consensus before we go through the process to reduce further confusion and communication gaps further down the line. In order to do that, the best idea is to have a meeting, have a brief meeting with the client and discuss their vision and how you will help them visualize that vision. Once you have jotted down key points, it will help you come up with a design that resonates with the vision that the client has in their mind. This is uh, a brand identity guideline that I created for a client a while ago. And this is a summary of their vision for the brand. Nomad Virtual was basically an e-learning platform for potential students and recent graduates to help them score internet opportunities as well as permanent jobs and improve their skills for the corporate world, help them get ready. The client wanted logo to respect aspects of nomadic lifestyle in today's world because it was uh, because of the remote opportunities being available during the current times. The brand also needed to have a voice on online platforms and stand out among similar internet-based job platforms. So once I got the brief document from the client, uh, I started working on the on basics of design. Now, when we talk about image making, it could be illustrations or logos or header images for websites or whatever you're going for, or even iconography for websites and as well as apps. What you need to keep in mind is that whatever image you create, it must be able to it should be able to be scaled up as well as scaled down when it's being printed or when it's being put on a website or being used as an icon for an app potentially. The logo should still be clear, it should be legible, and it should still retain the aspects that you have in mind. So with those things in mind, I came up with a few basic drafts to show to the client. These drafts were a direct reflection of the ideas that the client had in mind. The logo formed a circular shape to reflect accessibility around the globe, as well as elements of nomadic lifestyle through a very simplified version of a tent. The final logos that the client approved were these. Number one was a full text logo. Number two was the icon. It is important to notice that both of these logos follow the same design pattern and the same design theory. The A in Nomad is replaced with a very simplified version of the tent, and the same icon for the tent is being used as an icon-based logo. Now, if this logo is scaled down to a much smaller size, or if it is embroidered onto merchandise, or if it is printed, or if it is scaled up to a billboard, it's going to retain its shape and size and clarity because it is very simple. So the logo is, yes, it is minimal because it's trendy, but there are other more important practical reasons for it to be minimal as well. That is something you need to keep in mind when you're creating brand identities for your potential clients as well. This is a mock-up business card design for the potential clients. If you can see, both forms of the logo are being used. On the front, we've got a big icon, and then on the back, we've got the full text Nomad logo with the tagline as well as the contact details. Moving further, let's talk about typography in action. The typography for this brand uses the same theories that we discussed in the first tutorial in the series. However, uh, what you need to keep in mind is that the typography for this brand was focused on essentialism. It needed to look professional. It needed to grab the attention of the readers. It needed to have a structural font, and it needed to be professional. That's why I went with sans serif fonts and sans serif fonts that complement each other. So for the headings, we've got Just regular font, we've got just medium font, just semi-bold font. This typeface, the Jost typeface, is going to look very well when we're printing illustrations or when we are creating headings for the brand. And then for the copy, for the body copy, we've got Roboto, a very common, a worldwide accepted font that works well because it is legible when we're creating text or small paragraphs with a very small text size. Moving on to the color palette. Similar to what we discussed in the earlier tutorial, the color palette of Nomad needed to reflect colors of nature, but with a healthy contrast so that they don't blend too well. The client specifically requested a light or vibrant theme, which perfectly visualized the true identity of the brand. However, in order for the colors to stand out, we needed to have a complementary color that was much darker, so that the whites and the greens would pop out to the uh, uh, website viewers' eyes. Now that is why the primary color I chose was a light shade of green, with the secondary color being white and a background color of being a much darker green. Now let's see these color palettes and the typography for this brand in action. Here are a few mockups that I created for the brand. If you look at this, it's important to see how the logos tie in well with the brand and the overall identity of the brand. Different printable items, different design assets are created using the same brand identity guidelines. We've used shades of white, shades of green with contrast uh, so that these colors pop out uh, over a darker background. Moving on, here is a close-up of a potential brochure I designed for their potential clients. If you look closely, the brochure has an illustration that uses the same colors and uses the same design theories of being simple and legible and clear, as well as being professional for the potential client, because the brand is going to be pitching to a corporate client base. If you look at the icons, you can see that the icons are also very simple. The same icons are going to be used for their website, and if further down the line, if they choose to go with a custom application, the application is also going to use icons based on the same design theory. The icon based logo that I created is going to be the icon for their app as well. You can see an illustration that I created for the brand. It could reflect the murals or the potential advertising campaigns or the headers for the websites. All those design assets could be created using the same design principles that that are represented in this brand identity guideline. Now, we basically covered all the important aspects of the basics or fundamentals of creating a brand identity. But theory only takes you so far. So now that you have the necessary knowledge, I want you to put your skills to test. The next part of this tutorial is basically an assignment or a quiz for you. What you need to do is you need to come up with typography and color palette for a brand of your choosing. It can be an artificial brand or showcase brand or anything that you are interested in. You can even go further and recreate or rebrand potential brands that you like. For instance, this is a rebranding I did a while ago for Toblerone. I recreated their packaging. So what I did was basically I took their logo, which was created, which did not look very contemporary, and then I simplified it in a more minimal manner so that it reflects the modern sense. And this is how the new packaging looks like. You can do something like this, or you can come up with brand identity for your own brand from scratch. This is another sample or a benchmark that you can look at that I created for another client. This uses, again, colors that that go very well with each other, but look good with the contrast. So a much darker shade of blue for the background with complementary colors such as orange and white to give it a bit of an oomph. What you need to do next is come up with brand identity guidelines for your brands for your of your own choosing. And then you need to create brand identity guidelines such as the documents that I'm showing you, as well as a brochure such as this. This is another brand identity guideline that I created. This is a mock-up project that I created. Uh, Here you can see a few sample logos, but you can see the glaring issues in these logos is that these are not legible if they're scaled down to a smaller size. So I ended up with a finalized logo that was much, much simpler. And then further down the line, I created packaging design for this showcase client. And then I created a brochure for their advertisement campaigns. You need to create something similar and then submit that. And that is basically, once you do that, you will be ready to pitch to potential clients, and it is, I can guarantee that it's going to uplift your skill set to the next level. That's about it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.